There was a time in my life when everything seemed to be falling apart. I was juggling a demanding job, personal relationships that felt strained, and a constant sense of anxiety about the future. It felt like no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't catch a break. Sound familiar? That's when I stumbled upon Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that has been guiding people through life's toughest challenges for over 2,000 years. At first, I was skeptical. How could something so old possibly help me in today's fast-paced world? But as I began to explore its teachings, I realized that Stoicism wasn't just about enduring hardship, it was about thriving in the face of it. It taught me how to focus on what I could control, let go of what I couldn't, and find peace in the present moment. And that's exactly what I want to share with you today. In this video, we'll dive into 20 powerful Stoic insights that can help you overcome challenges, build resilience, and live a more fulfilling life. Whether you're dealing with stress, setbacks, or uncertainty, these timeless principles will give you the tools to navigate life with clarity and strength. So, if you're ready to transform the way you face adversity, let's get started. Now, let's dive into the first Stoic insight, and it's one that can truly transform how you approach life's challenges. Focus on what you can control. This principle is at the very heart of Stoic philosophy, and it's all about understanding the difference between what's within your power and what isn't. Think about it. How often do we waste energy worrying about things we can't change? The weather, other people's opinions, or even the past. These are all outside our control. But what we can control is how we respond to them. For example, you can't control a sudden traffic jam, but you can control whether you let it ruin your mood. You can't control someone else's actions, but you can control how you react to them. This mindset shift is incredibly powerful because it frees you from the weight of trying to change the unchangeable. Instead, it directs your energy toward what truly matters: your thoughts, your actions, and your attitude. By focusing on what's within your control, you reduce anxiety and build resilience. You stop feeling like a victim of circumstance and start taking charge of your own life. It's not about ignoring the challenges around you. It's about recognizing where your power lies and using it wisely. This is how Stoicism teaches us to face adversity with clarity and strength. And as we move forward, you'll see how this principle connects to the next insight, which is all about embracing the present moment. Now, let's turn our attention to the second Stoic insight, which invites us to embrace the present moment. This practice is all about mindfulness, being fully aware of where we are and what we're doing, without letting our minds drift into the past or future. Think about how much time we spend replaying old mistakes or worrying about what's to come. The Stoics believed that this habit robs us of the only thing we truly have, the present. By focusing on the here and now, we free ourselves from the weight of regret and anxiety. For example, when you're having a conversation, are you truly listening, or is your mind wandering to what you'll say next or what happened earlier? The Stoic approach encourages us to fully engage with the moment, whether it's a simple task, a meaningful interaction, or even a quiet moment of reflection. One practical way to stay present is through mindful breathing. Take a few deep breaths and notice the sensation of air filling your lungs. This simple act can ground you in the present and help you let go of distractions. Another tip is to practice gratitude for the small things around you. The warmth of sunlight, the taste of your morning coffee, or the sound of birds chirping. These moments remind us that life is happening right now, not in the past or future. Embracing the present doesn't mean ignoring the lessons of the past or planning for the future. It means not letting those things dominate your mind. When you focus on the now, you'll find that challenges feel more manageable and life feels richer. This Stoic insight teaches us to live fully, one moment at a time, and as we move forward, you'll see how this practice connects to the next principle, accepting what we cannot change. Now let's move into the third Stoic insight, which centers on the powerful idea of amor fati, a Latin phrase meaning love of fate. This principle teaches us to not only accept what we cannot change, but to embrace it wholeheartedly. The Stoics believed that resisting the inevitable only leads to suffering, while accepting it opens the door to inner peace and resilience. Think about it. How often do we waste energy fighting against things we have no control over, like traffic, bad weather, or even the actions of others? The Stoic approach is to shift our perspective and see these moments not as obstacles, but as opportunities to practice acceptance and grow stronger. A striking example of this comes from Marcus Aurelius, one of history's most famous Stoic philosophers and a Roman emperor. During his reign, he faced countless crises, wars, plagues, and political turmoil. Yet, instead of lamenting his circumstances, he chose to accept them as part of his fate. In his personal writings, now known as meditations, he often reflected on the importance of embracing whatever life throws at us. He wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way," meaning that challenges are not roadblocks but stepping stones. By accepting the reality of his situation, Marcus Aurelius was able to lead with clarity and composure, even in the face of immense adversity. This idea of amor fati doesn't mean we should passively resign ourselves to life's hardships. Instead, it's about recognizing what's beyond our control and focusing our energy on how we respond. For instance, if you lose your job, you can't change the fact that it happened, but you can choose how to move forward, whether by updating your skills, exploring new opportunities, or simply taking time to reflect on your next steps. By accepting the situation, you free yourself from the emotional weight of resistance and open yourself to new possibilities. The beauty of this Stoic insight is that it transforms our relationship with life's uncertainties. Instead of fearing the unknown, we learn to trust the process and find meaning in every experience. As we continue, you'll see how this mindset connects to the next principle, practicing gratitude daily, which builds on the foundation of acceptance to help us find joy even in the simplest moments. Now let's turn our attention to the fourth Stoic insight, practicing gratitude daily. This principle builds on the foundation of acceptance we just explored, showing us how to shift our focus from what we lack to what we already have. The Stoics believed that gratitude is not just a fleeting feeling, but a deliberate practice, one that can transform our perspective and help us find contentment, even in the midst of challenges. Gratitude, in the Stoic sense, is about more than just saying thank you. It's a mindset, a way of seeing the world that reminds us of the abundance already present in our lives. Think about it. When we're caught up in stress or disappointment, it's easy to overlook the small blessings. A warm meal, a kind word, or even the simple fact that we woke up this morning. By taking time to reflect on these things, we train our minds to appreciate what's here rather than longing for what's missing. This practice isn't just about feeling good in the moment. It has profound effects on our overall well-being. Studies have shown that regularly practicing gratitude can reduce stress, improve mental health, and even strengthen relationships. The Stoics understood this long before modern science confirmed it. They saw gratitude as a tool for cultivating inner peace, helping us stay grounded when life feels chaotic. One practical way to incorporate this into your life is through a daily gratitude journal. Each evening, take a few minutes to write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be grand or extraordinary. Sometimes it's the simplest things that matter most. Maybe it's the sound of rain on your window, a conversation with a friend, or even the progress you made on a personal goal. Over time, this habit rewires your brain to notice and appreciate the good, even when challenges arise. The beauty of gratitude is that it doesn't require your circumstances to change. You don't need more money, more time, or more success to practice it. You can start right where you are with what you already have. And when you do, you'll find that gratitude has a way of shifting your perspective, helping you see challenges not as burdens but as opportunities to grow and learn. As we move forward, you'll see how this practice of gratitude connects to the next Stoic insight, turning obstacles into opportunities. By appreciating what we have, we build the resilience needed to face life's difficulties with courage and clarity. Now, let's explore the fifth Stoic insight, turning obstacles into opportunities. This powerful idea shifts how we see challenges, transforming them from roadblocks into stepping stones for growth. The Stoics believed that every difficulty we face carries the potential to teach us something valuable, if only we're willing to look for it. Think about it this way: when life throws something unexpected or difficult your way, it's easy to feel frustrated or defeated. But what if, instead of seeing that obstacle as a problem, you saw it as a chance to grow stronger, wiser, or more resilient? That's the essence of this Stoic principle. It's about reframing adversity not as something to avoid, but as something to embrace and learn from. Take the story of Thomas Edison, for example. When his laboratory burned down in a massive fire, destroying years of work, he didn't despair. Instead, he famously said, "Thank goodness all our mistakes were burned up. Now we can start fresh." Edison saw the disaster not as a loss, but as an opportunity to rebuild and improve. His ability to find the silver lining in such a devastating event is a perfect example of the Stoic mindset in action. Or consider the story of Malala Yousafzai, who faced unimaginable adversity when she was attacked for advocating for girls' education. Instead of letting fear or anger define her, she used her experience as a platform to inspire millions and fight for change on a global scale. Her story shows us that even the most painful challenges can become catalysts for incredible growth and impact. So, how can you start applying this mindset in your own life? Begin by asking yourself a simple question when you encounter a challenge. What can I learn from this? Maybe it's a chance to develop patience, creativity, or perseverance. Maybe it's an opportunity to reevaluate your priorities or discover strength you didn't know you had. By shifting your focus from what's going wrong to what you can gain, you'll find that obstacles lose their power to overwhelm you. This Stoic insight doesn't mean ignoring the difficulty of a situation or pretending everything is fine. It's about choosing to see the potential for growth, even in the toughest moments. And when you do, you'll find that challenges become less about holding you back and more about pushing you forward. As we move into the next insight, we'll explore how cultivating inner strength through Stoic practices can help you face these challenges with even greater resilience and clarity. Because when you combine gratitude, acceptance, and the ability to turn obstacles into opportunities, you're building a foundation for lasting peace and growth. Now, let's shift our focus to the sixth Stoic insight, cultivating inner strength. This principle is all about building mental resilience through self-discipline and self-awareness, two qualities the Stoics believed were essential for navigating life's challenges with grace and clarity. Inner strength isn't something you're born with, it's something you develop over time, through consistent practice and reflection. The Stoics understood that life is unpredictable, and the only thing we can truly control is how we respond to it. That's why they placed such a strong emphasis on training the mind. By cultivating self-discipline, we learn to manage our impulses and emotions rather than letting them control us. And through self-awareness, we gain a deeper understanding of our thoughts, habits, and reactions, allowing us to make more intentional choices. One practical way to build this inner strength is through journaling. The Stoics were avid journalers, using writing as a tool for self-reflection and growth. Each day, take a few moments to write down your thoughts, challenges, and victories. Ask yourself questions like, "What did I do well today?" Or, "Where could I have handled a situation better?" This practice not only helps you process your experiences, but also reinforces your ability to learn from them. Meditation is another powerful tool for strengthening the mind. While the Stoics didn't use the term meditation as we do today, they practiced forms of mindfulness, such as focusing on the present moment or reflecting on their values. Try setting aside 5 to 10 minutes each day to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and observe your thoughts without judgment. Over time, this practice can help you develop greater mental clarity and emotional balance. Another Stoic exercise is the premeditation of adversity, where you mentally prepare for potential challenges. Imagine a difficult situation you might face, a tough conversation, a setback at work, or a personal loss, and visualize how you would respond with calm and resilience. By rehearsing these scenarios in your mind, you're better equipped to handle them when they arise in real life. Cultivating inner strength isn't about becoming invincible or never feeling pain. It's about building the mental and emotional tools to face life's difficulties with courage and composure. When you strengthen your mind through self-discipline and self-awareness, you're not just surviving challenges, you're thriving through them. As we move forward, we'll explore how letting go of external validation can free you from the opinions of others and help you find true happiness within yourself. Because when you combine inner strength with a focus on what truly matters, you're unstoppable. Now, let's turn our attention to the seventh Stoic insight, letting go of external validation. This principle is rooted in the Stoic belief that true happiness and fulfillment come from within, not from the opinions or approval of others. The Stoics understood that relying on external validation is like building your house on shifting sand. It's unstable, unreliable, and ultimately unsatisfying. Think about it. When we constantly seek approval from others, we give away our power. Our sense of worth becomes tied to what others think of us, and that's a dangerous place to be. If someone praises us, we feel good, but if they criticize us, we feel crushed. This cycle of seeking validation can lead to a never-ending chase for approval, leaving us feeling empty and unfulfilled. The Stoics believed that the key to breaking free from this cycle is to focus on what's within our control, our own thoughts, actions, and values. Instead of worrying about what others think, we should ask ourselves, am I living in alignment with my principles? Am I being true to myself? When we shift our focus inward, we stop giving others the power to define our worth. One practical way to detach from the need for external validation is to practice self-reflection. Take time each day to evaluate your actions and decisions based on your own standards, not someone else's. Ask yourself, did I act with integrity today? Did I stay true to my values? This practice helps you build confidence in your own judgment and reduces the need for outside approval. Another powerful Stoic exercise is to remind yourself that the opinions of others are ultimately beyond your control. People will always have their own biases, preferences, and judgments, and trying to please everyone is a losing battle. Instead, focus on what you can control, your own thoughts, choices, and actions. When you stop seeking validation from others, you free yourself from the burden of their expectations and create space for genuine self-acceptance. Letting go of external validation doesn't mean you stop caring about others or become indifferent to their feelings. It simply means you stop letting their opinions dictate your self-worth. True happiness comes from within, from living a life that aligns with your values and principles. When you stop chasing approval and start living authentically, you'll find a deeper, more lasting sense of fulfillment. As we move forward, we'll explore how embracing discomfort can help you build resilience and prepare for life's inevitable challenges. Because when you stop seeking validation from others and start trusting yourself, you unlock a new level of inner strength and freedom. Now, let's shift our focus to the eighth Stoic insight, practicing voluntary discomfort. This might sound counterintuitive at first. Why would anyone willingly choose to experience discomfort? But the Stoics believed that intentionally embracing small hardships is one of the most effective ways to build resilience and prepare for life's inevitable challenges. Think of it like training for a marathon. You don't start by running 26 miles on day one. Instead, you gradually push your limits, building strength and endurance over time. In the same way, practicing voluntary discomfort strengthens your mental and emotional muscles, helping you handle bigger challenges with greater ease. One classic example of this practice is fasting. By voluntarily skipping a meal or two, you learn to tolerate hunger and discomfort. This not only builds self-discipline, but also helps you appreciate the abundance you often take for granted. Similarly, taking cold showers might seem unpleasant, but it teaches you to endure discomfort and stay calm under pressure. These small acts of self-denial train your mind to remain steady when life throws unexpected hardships your way. The Stoics weren't suggesting that you seek out unnecessary suffering. Instead, they encouraged you to step out of your comfort zone in small, manageable ways. This could mean waking up earlier than usual, taking on a challenging project, or even having a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. The goal isn't to make life harder, but to prepare yourself for the times when life inevitably becomes harder. By practicing voluntary discomfort, you also gain a deeper appreciation for the things you have. When you experience hunger, you value food more. When you endure cold, you appreciate warmth. This practice fosters gratitude and helps you develop a more balanced perspective on life's ups and downs. Ultimately, the Stoics believed that embracing discomfort is a form of mental training. It teaches you that you are stronger than you think and that you can handle more than you realize. When you willingly face small challenges, you build the confidence and resilience needed to tackle bigger ones. As we move forward, we'll explore how reflecting on our mortality can inspire us to live more intentionally and make the most of the time we have. Because when you learn to embrace discomfort, you not only prepare for life's challenges, but also discover a deeper sense of inner strength and purpose. Now let's turn our attention to the ninth Stoic insight, reflecting on mortality. This practice, known as memento mori, Latin for remember you must die, might seem unsettling at first. But the Stoics saw it as a powerful tool for living a more meaningful and intentional life. By keeping the inevitability of death in mind, they believed we could gain a clearer perspective on what truly matters and make the most of the time we have. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean, knowing your time to explore it is limited. Would you waste hours worrying about trivial things, or would you dive in and savor every moment? Reflecting on mortality works in a similar way. It reminds us that life is finite, urging us to focus on what's truly important and let go of distractions that don't serve us. This isn't about dwelling on fear or sadness, but about using the awareness of life's brevity as a motivator to live fully and authentically. The Stoics often used this practice to ground themselves in the present. For example, Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, would regularly remind himself of his own mortality. He wrote in his personal journal, Meditations, that reflecting on death helped him stay humble, prioritize his duties, and avoid wasting time on petty concerns. By acknowledging that his time was limited, he was able to approach each day with purpose and gratitude. This practice also helps us appreciate the people and experiences we often take for granted. When we remember that our time with loved ones is finite, we're more likely to cherish the moments we share. It shifts our focus from accumulating material possessions to nurturing meaningful relationships and creating lasting memories. In this way, reflecting on mortality isn't morbid, it's a reminder to live with intention and gratitude. Moreover, this Stoic insight encourages us to confront our fears. Many of us avoid thinking about death because it feels uncomfortable or unsettling. But by facing this reality head-on, we can reduce its power over us. Instead of fearing the end, we can focus on making the most of the time we have. This mindset fosters courage and resilience, helping us tackle challenges with a sense of purpose and clarity. Ultimately, memento mori is about embracing life's impermanence and using it as a guide to live more fully. It's a call to action, a reminder that every day is a gift and an opportunity to align our actions with our values. When we reflect on our mortality, we're not just preparing for the end, we're learning how to truly live. As we move forward, we'll explore how avoiding complaints and taking responsibility for our reactions can further strengthen our resilience and inner peace. Because when we stop wasting time on what we can't control, we free ourselves to focus on what truly matters. Now, let's shift our focus to the 10th Stoic insight, avoiding complaints. The Stoics believed that complaining about circumstances we can't control only drains our energy and amplifies negativity. Instead, they encouraged taking full responsibility for our reactions, focusing on what we can change rather than what we can't. This mindset isn't about ignoring problems, it's about approaching them with clarity and purpose. Think of it like this: when you're stuck in traffic, you have two choices. You can either complain about the delay, letting frustration take over, or you can accept the situation and use the time productively, maybe by listening to a podcast or reflecting on your day. The Stoics would argue that the second approach not only reduces stress but also empowers you to make the most of the moment. By avoiding complaints, you shift from being a passive victim of circumstances to an active problem solver. This principle is deeply tied to the Stoic idea of focusing on what's within our control. Complaining often stems from fixating on external factors, things like other people's actions, the weather, or unexpected setbacks. But the Stoics remind us that while we can't control these external events, we can always control how we respond to them. When we stop complaining, we free up mental space to find solutions and take constructive action. Take the example of Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who was born into slavery. Despite facing immense hardship, he chose not to dwell on his circumstances or complain about his lack of freedom. Instead, he focused on cultivating his inner freedom, his ability to think, reason, and choose his attitude. This mindset allowed him to rise above his situation and become one of the most influential thinkers of his time. His life is a testament to the power of taking responsibility for our reactions, even in the face of adversity. Avoiding complaints also has a ripple effect on our relationships and environment. Constant negativity can drain those around us, creating a cycle of frustration and discontent. But when we choose to respond with calmness and resilience, we inspire others to do the same. This doesn't mean we should suppress our emotions or ignore genuine issues. Instead, it's about expressing ourselves constructively and seeking solutions rather than dwelling on problems. By adopting this Stoic insight, we cultivate a mindset of gratitude and resourcefulness. Instead of focusing on what's wrong, we learn to appreciate what's right and find ways to improve what's within our control. This shift not only reduces negativity but also fosters a sense of empowerment and inner peace. As we continue, we'll explore how developing emotional resilience can further strengthen our ability to navigate life's challenges with grace and determination. Because when we stop complaining and start taking responsibility, we unlock the potential to transform obstacles into opportunities. Now, let's turn our attention to the 11th Stoic insight, developing emotional resilience. Stoicism teaches us that emotions, while natural, are not beyond our control. Instead of being swept away by anger, fear, or sadness, we can learn to manage these feelings by understanding their root causes. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions, it means observing them with clarity and choosing how to respond. At the heart of this practice is the idea that our emotions are often tied to our judgments. For example, if someone cuts you off in traffic, your immediate reaction might be frustration or anger. But Stoicism invites us to pause and ask, why am I feeling this way? Is it because I've judged the situation as unfair or disrespectful? By examining these judgments, we can begin to see that our emotions are not caused by the event itself, but by how we interpret it. This shift in perspective allows us to reframe our thoughts and respond more calmly. One powerful technique Stoics use is reframing. Instead of viewing a challenge as a threat, we can see it as an opportunity to grow. Imagine you've been given a difficult project at work. Your first reaction might be stress or self-doubt. but by reframing the situation, you can choose to see it as a chance to develop new skills or prove your capabilities. This simple mental shift can transform anxiety into motivation, helping you approach the task with confidence rather than fear. Another key Stoic practice is detachment. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent or uncaring. It means recognizing that many things in life are beyond our control. By detaching from outcomes, we free ourselves from unnecessary worry and focus on what we can influence. For instance, if you're preparing for a job interview, you can't control whether you'll get the offer, but you can control how well you prepare and present yourself. By letting go of the need for a specific result, you reduce pressure and perform at your best. Stoicism also encourages us to prepare for emotional challenges in advance. This is known as premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. By imagining potential setbacks or difficulties, we mentally rehearse how we'll respond. This practice doesn't dwell on negativity. It builds emotional resilience by helping us stay calm and composed when challenges arise. For example, if you're worried about an upcoming presentation, visualize yourself handling tough questions with poise. This mental preparation can ease anxiety and boost your confidence. Developing emotional resilience isn't about avoiding difficult emotions. It's about navigating them with wisdom and strength. By understanding the root causes of our feelings, reframing our thoughts, and practicing detachment, we can maintain emotional balance even in turbulent times. This Stoic insight empowers us to face life's ups and downs with grace, ensuring that we remain steady and focused no matter what comes our way. As we move forward, we'll explore how cultivating self-discipline can further enhance our ability to live with purpose and integrity. Because when we master our emotions, we unlock the power to shape our lives with intention and clarity. Now, let's shift our focus to the 12th Stoic insight, practicing self-discipline. At its core, Stoicism teaches that true freedom comes not from indulging every desire, but from mastering our impulses. This might sound counterintuitive at first. After all, isn't freedom about doing what we want? But Stoics argue that when we're ruled by our cravings or emotions, we're not truly free. Instead, we become slaves to our own impulses, constantly chasing fleeting pleasures or avoiding discomfort. Self-discipline, then, is the key to breaking this cycle and living with intention. Think of self-discipline as a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. And just like physical training, building this mental strength requires consistent effort. One practical way to start is by setting small, manageable goals. For example, if you're trying to cut back on distractions, commit to spending just 10 minutes a day on a task without checking your phone. Over time, these small victories add up, reinforcing your ability to stay focused and resist temptation. Another Stoic practice is delaying gratification. This means choosing long-term benefits over short-term pleasures. Imagine you're tempted to skip your workout and binge watch a show instead. By reminding yourself of the bigger picture, how exercise improves your health and energy, you can make a choice that aligns with your values rather than your immediate desires. This doesn't mean denying yourself all enjoyment, but rather making conscious decisions about what truly serves you. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of routines. By creating habits that support your goals, you reduce the need for constant willpower. For instance, if you want to read more, set aside a specific time each day for reading. Over time, this becomes a natural part of your day, requiring less effort to maintain. Routines act as guardrails, keeping you on track even when motivation wanes. Another powerful tool is reflection. At the end of each day, take a few moments to review your actions. Did you act in alignment with your values, or did you give in to impulses? This isn't about self-criticism, it's about learning and growing. By identifying areas where you struggled, you can develop strategies to improve. For example, if you noticed you often procrastinate in the afternoon, you might schedule your most important tasks for the morning when your energy is highest. Ultimately, self-discipline is about aligning your actions with your highest principles. It's not about perfection but progress. Every time you choose to act with intention rather than impulse, you strengthen your ability to live a life of purpose and integrity. And as you cultivate this inner strength, you'll find that true freedom lies not in doing whatever you want, but in becoming the person you aspire to be. As we continue, we'll explore how seeking wisdom rather than fleeting pleasures can lead to a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Because when we prioritize what truly matters, we unlock the potential to live with clarity and purpose. Now let's turn our attention to the 13th Stoic insight, seeking wisdom over pleasure. At first glance, this might seem like a tough choice after all. Who doesn't enjoy the immediate joy of a delicious meal, a relaxing evening, or a moment of indulgence? But Stoicism challenges us to look beyond these fleeting pleasures and ask ourselves, what truly brings lasting fulfillment? The answer, according to the Stoics, lies in the pursuit of wisdom and virtue. Wisdom, in the Stoic sense, isn't just about accumulating knowledge. It's about understanding what truly matters in life and aligning our actions with those principles. Think of it this way: while pleasure might give us a temporary high, wisdom offers something far more enduring, a sense of purpose, clarity, and inner peace. For example, consider the difference between spending an evening scrolling through social media and spending that same time reading a book that challenges your thinking or deepens your understanding of the world. One offers instant gratification while the other contributes to your long-term growth. This doesn't mean Stoics reject all forms of enjoyment. Rather, they encourage us to be mindful of how we spend our time and energy. Are we chasing things that leave us feeling empty afterward, or are we investing in activities that enrich our lives and help us grow? Take the example of Marcus Aurelius, one of history's most famous Stoics. As a Roman emperor, he had access to every luxury imaginable, yet he chose to focus on self-improvement, reflection, and serving others. His writings reveal a man deeply committed to living a life of virtue, even in the face of immense power and temptation. Another way to think about this is through the lens of delayed gratification. Imagine you're faced with a choice. You can either spend your money on a lavish vacation or invest it in a course that will enhance your skills and career prospects. The vacation might bring immediate joy, but the course could open doors to new opportunities and long-term satisfaction. Stoicism teaches us to weigh these choices carefully, always asking ourselves, which option aligns with my values and long-term goals? This principle also applies to how we handle challenges. When we prioritize wisdom over pleasure, we learn to see obstacles as opportunities for growth rather than sources of frustration. For instance, instead of avoiding a difficult conversation, we might approach it with curiosity and a desire to understand, knowing that doing so will strengthen our relationships and personal resilience. Over time, this mindset helps us build a life that feels meaningful and aligned with our deepest values. Ultimately, seeking wisdom over pleasure is about making intentional choices that contribute to our long-term well-being. It's not about denying ourselves joy, but about recognizing that true fulfillment comes from living a life of purpose, integrity, and growth. And as we cultivate this mindset, we begin to see that the most rewarding pleasures are those that align with our highest principles. As we move forward, we'll explore how being mindful of our reactions can help us navigate life's challenges with greater clarity and composure. Because when we respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively, we take another step toward living a life of wisdom and virtue. Now, let's shift our focus to the 14th Stoic insight, being mindful of your reactions. Life is full of unexpected events, some delightful, others challenging. And while we can't always control what happens to us, Stoicism reminds us that we have complete control over how we respond. This simple yet profound idea is at the heart of emotional resilience and personal growth. Imagine this: you're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. Your first instinct might be to feel frustrated, maybe even angry, but here's where Stoic wisdom comes in. Instead of letting those emotions take over, you pause and ask yourself, will getting upset change the situation? The answer, of course, is no. What it can change, however, is your state of mind. By choosing to respond calmly, you not only preserve your peace but also set yourself up to handle the situation more effectively. This principle applies to far more than just traffic jams. Think about a time when someone said something that upset you. Maybe it was a critical comment or a misunderstanding. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to react defensively or lash out. But Stoicism teaches us to take a step back, breathe, and consider our response. What would a wise, composed version of ourselves do? Often, this moment of reflection can transform a potential conflict into an opportunity for understanding and connection. One practical strategy for cultivating this mindfulness is the practice of the pause. When faced with a triggering situation, take a few seconds or even minutes before responding. Use this time to reflect on your emotions and the possible outcomes of your actions. Ask yourself, is my reaction aligned with my values? Will it lead to a resolution or escalate the issue? This small but powerful habit can help you break the cycle of impulsive reactions and replace them with thoughtful, intentional responses. Another key aspect of this Stoic insight is recognizing that our reactions are often shaped by our perceptions. Two people can experience the same event and respond in completely different ways based on how they interpret it. For example, losing a job might feel like a devastating blow to one person, while another might see it as an opportunity to explore new paths. By reframing our perspective, we can shift our emotional response and approach challenges with a sense of curiosity and resilience rather than fear or frustration. Stoicism also encourages us to practice detachment from outcomes. This doesn't mean we stop caring about what happens. Rather, it means we focus on what we can control, our actions and attitudes, while letting go of the rest. When we release the need to control every outcome, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and open the door to greater peace of mind. Ultimately, being mindful of our reactions is about reclaiming our power. It's about choosing how we want to show up in the world, even when circumstances are less than ideal. And as we practice this skill, we begin to see that our greatest strength lies not in controlling external events, but in mastering our internal responses. As we move forward, we'll explore how practicing empathy and compassion can further enhance our ability to navigate life's challenges with grace and wisdom. Because when we approach others with understanding, we not only improve our relationships but also deepen our own sense of inner peace. Now, let's turn our attention to the 15th Stoic insight, practicing empathy and compassion. At first glance, Stoicism might seem like a philosophy focused solely on self-mastery and personal resilience. But in truth, it also places great importance on how we relate to others. Stoicism teaches us that understanding and empathizing with those around us, even in moments of conflict, is not just a moral duty, it's a path to deeper peace and stronger relationships. Consider this: when someone acts in a way that frustrates or hurts us, our instinct might be to judge or retaliate. But Stoicism invites us to pause and ask a different question: what might be driving their behavior? Perhaps they're acting out of fear, insecurity, or misunderstanding. By seeking to understand their perspective, we shift from reacting with anger to responding with compassion. This doesn't mean we excuse harmful behavior, but it does mean we approach the situation with a clearer, calmer mindset. Empathy, in the Stoic sense, is about recognizing the shared humanity in all of us. The ancient Stoics believed that every person is doing the best they can with the knowledge and resources they have at the time. When we remind ourselves of this, it becomes easier to extend grace to others, even when their actions fall short of our expectations. This practice not only diffuses tension but also helps us avoid taking things personally, which can be a major source of unnecessary suffering. Compassion, on the other hand, is about taking that understanding a step further. It's about actively wishing for the well-being of others, even those who challenge us. This might sound difficult, especially in heated moments, but Stoicism offers a practical way to cultivate this mindset. One technique is to visualize the other person as someone you care about deeply. Imagine they're a close friend or family member who's struggling. How would you respond to them? This simple shift in perspective can soften our hearts and guide us toward more constructive interactions. Practicing empathy and compassion also has a profound impact on our own well-being. When we approach conflicts with understanding rather than defensiveness, we reduce the emotional toll they take on us. We're less likely to carry resentment or bitterness, and more likely to find solutions that benefit everyone involved. Over time, this approach fosters healthier, more fulfilling relationships, whether in our personal lives, at work, or in our communities. Stoicism also reminds us that empathy and compassion are not signs of weakness but strength. They require courage, self-awareness, and a commitment to living virtuously. By choosing to see the humanity in others, even when it's difficult, we align ourselves with the Stoic ideals of wisdom, justice, and temperance. And in doing so, we not only improve our relationships but also deepen our own sense of inner peace. As we continue, we'll explore how simplifying our lives can help us focus on what truly matters, creating space for greater clarity and fulfillment. Because when we let go of the unnecessary, we make room for what brings us joy and purpose. Now, let's shift our focus to the 16th Stoic insight, simplifying your life. In a world filled with endless distractions and demands, Stoicism offers a refreshing perspective, one that encourages us to strip away the unnecessary and focus on what truly matters. This principle isn't just about physical decluttering, though that's part of it. It's about creating mental and emotional space so we can live with greater clarity, purpose, and peace. Think about how often we accumulate things, material possessions, commitments, even thoughts that don't serve us. These can weigh us down, leaving us feeling overwhelmed and disconnected from what's important. The Stoics believed that by simplifying our lives, we free ourselves from the chaos and noise that distract us from living virtuously. This doesn't mean living in deprivation, but rather choosing to prioritize what aligns with our values and brings genuine fulfillment. One way to start is by examining our physical environment. Clutter in our surroundings often reflects clutter in our minds. When we take the time to organize and let go of what we no longer need, we create a sense of order that can have a profound impact on our mental state. It's like clearing a path through a dense forest. Suddenly, we can see where we're going and move forward with intention. But simplification goes beyond the physical. It's also about decluttering our schedules and commitments. How many of us say yes to things out of obligation or fear of missing out, only to feel drained and stretched thin? Stoicism teaches us to be intentional with our time and energy. By saying no to what doesn't align with our priorities, we make room for what truly enriches our lives, whether that's spending time with loved ones, pursuing meaningful work, or simply enjoying moments of stillness. Mental decluttering is equally important. Our minds can become crowded with worries, regrets, and endless to-do lists. The Stoics practiced mindfulness to help quiet this mental noise. One technique is to regularly reflect on what's within our control and what's not. By letting go of what we can't change, we free up mental space to focus on what we can influence. This shift not only reduces stress but also helps us approach life with greater clarity and purpose. Simplifying our lives also allows us to appreciate the present moment more fully. When we're not bogged down by excess, whether it's possessions, commitments, or mental clutter, we're better able to notice and savor the small joys of life. A quiet morning, a meaningful conversation, or even a moment of solitude can become sources of deep contentment when we're not distracted by the unnecessary. Ultimately, the Stoic practice of simplification is about creating a life that reflects our deepest values. It's about choosing quality over quantity, presence over busyness, and meaning over superficiality. By letting go of what no longer serves us, we make room for what truly matters, and in doing so, we find greater peace, clarity, and fulfillment. As we move forward, we'll explore how learning from adversity can transform our challenges into powerful opportunities for growth. Because when we face life's difficulties with resilience and wisdom, we uncover strengths we never knew we had. Now, let's turn our attention to the 17th Stoic insight, learning from adversity. Life is full of challenges, but the Stoics saw these not as obstacles to avoid, but as opportunities to grow. They believed that every difficulty we face has the potential to teach us something valuable if we're willing to look for the lesson. This perspective shifts how we approach hardship, transforming it from something to fear into something to embrace. Consider the story of Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison before becoming the leader of South Africa. Instead of letting his circumstances break him, he used that time to reflect, learn, and prepare for the future. Mandela emerged from prison not with bitterness, but with a vision for reconciliation and justice. His ability to learn from adversity not only shaped his own character, but also changed the course of history. This is the power of seeing challenges as teachers. Closer to home, think about times in your own life when you faced setbacks. Maybe it was a job loss, a failed relationship, or a health issue. At the time, it might have felt overwhelming, even insurmountable. But looking back, you might realize that those experiences taught you resilience, patience, or the importance of self-care. The Stoics would argue that these lessons are invaluable. They shape who we are and prepare us for whatever comes next. One of the key Stoic practices for learning from adversity is reflection. After facing a challenge, take a moment to ask yourself, what did this experience teach me? How did it make me stronger? What can I do differently next time? By reflecting on these questions, we turn our struggles into stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. This doesn't mean ignoring the pain or difficulty of the situation, but rather finding meaning in it. Another Stoic principle that helps us learn from adversity is the idea of amor fati, or loving our fate. This means accepting what happens to us not with resignation, but with the understanding that every experience, good or bad, has a purpose. When we embrace this mindset, we stop resisting our challenges and start looking for the growth they offer. It's like turning a rough stone into a polished gem. The process may be uncomfortable, but the result is something beautiful and enduring. Adversity also teaches us humility. When things don't go as planned, we're reminded that we're not in complete control. This can be a humbling experience, but it's also an opportunity to practice acceptance and adaptability. The Stoics believed that by acknowledging our limitations, we become more open to learning and growth. It's in these moments of vulnerability that we often discover our greatest strengths. Finally, learning from adversity helps us develop empathy. When we've been through tough times ourselves, we're better able to understand and support others who are facing similar struggles. This creates a sense of connection and community, reminding us that we're not alone in our challenges. The Stoics saw this as a vital part of living a virtuous life, using our experiences to uplift and inspire others. As we move forward, we'll explore the Stoic virtue of humility and how it helps us maintain perspective in the face of life's ups and downs. Because when we approach life with humility, we open ourselves to even greater growth and understanding. Now, let's shift our focus to the 18th Stoic insight, practicing humility. Humility, in the Stoic sense, isn't about downplaying your worth or achievement. It's about recognizing your place in the grand scheme of things. It's the understanding that no matter how much we know or accomplish, there's always more to learn and room to grow. This mindset keeps us grounded, open to new ideas, and free from the trap of arrogance. Think about it this way: life is vast and unpredictable. No matter how much we plan or prepare, there will always be factors beyond our control. The Stoics believed that acknowledging this reality is a form of wisdom. When we practice humility, we accept that we're not the center of the universe, and that's okay. In fact, it's liberating. It allows us to approach life with curiosity rather than entitlement, and it helps us stay connected to others in a meaningful way. Humility also fosters gratitude. When we recognize our limitations, we become more aware of the things we often take for granted: our health, our relationships, even the small daily comforts. This awareness shifts our focus from what we lack to what we already have. Gratitude, in turn, strengthens our resilience. It reminds us that even in difficult times, there's always something to appreciate. And when we're grateful, we're less likely to fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to others or feeling like we're not enough. Another benefit of humility is that it prevents arrogance. Arrogance often stems from an inflated sense of self-importance, which can blind us to our flaws and limit our growth. The Stoics warned against this, urging us to stay humble even in moments of success. After all, success is fleeting, and clinging to it too tightly can lead to disappointment. By practicing humility, we remain open to feedback, willing to admit when we're wrong, and ready to adapt when circumstances change. One practical way to cultivate humility is through self-reflection. Take a moment each day to ask yourself, what did I learn today? Where did I fall short? What can I do better tomorrow? These questions keep us honest and grounded. They remind us that growth is a continuous process, not a destination. Another way to practice humility is to seek out diverse perspectives. Surround yourself with people who challenge your assumptions and push you to think differently. This not only broadens your understanding, but also keeps you humble by showing you how much you don't know. Humility also plays a key role in relationships. When we approach others with humility, we're more likely to listen, empathize, and collaborate. This creates stronger connections and fosters a sense of community. The Stoics believed that living virtuously meant contributing to the well-being of others, and humility is a cornerstone of that philosophy. It reminds us that we're all in this together, navigating life's challenges and triumphs as part of a larger whole. As we move forward, we'll explore the 19th Stoic insight, focusing on virtue above all. Because when we prioritize wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, we align ourselves with the Stoic ideal of living a meaningful and fulfilling life. Now, let's turn our attention to the 19th Stoic insight, focusing on virtue above all. The Stoics believed that the ultimate goal of life is to live virtuously, which they defined through 4 key qualities: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These virtues aren't just abstract ideals, they're practical guides for how to navigate life's challenges with integrity and purpose. When we prioritize virtue, we align ourselves with what the Stoics called the good life, a life of meaning and fulfillment. Wisdom, the first of these virtues, is about seeing the world clearly and making thoughtful decisions. It's the ability to discern what truly matters and act accordingly. For the Stoics, wisdom isn't just about knowledge, it's about applying that knowledge in ways that benefit ourselves and others. It's the foundation upon which all other virtues are built. Without wisdom, courage can become recklessness, justice can turn into rigidity, and temperance can slip into self-denial. But with wisdom, we can strike the right balance in every situation. Courage, the second virtue, is about facing challenges with strength and resilience. It's not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. The Stoics saw courage as essential for standing up for what's right, even when it's difficult or unpopular. Whether it's speaking your truth, defending someone in need, or simply persevering through a tough time, courage allows us to move forward with conviction. It's the virtue that helps us turn obstacles into opportunities, as we discussed earlier in the video. Justice, the third virtue, is about fairness and treating others with respect. For the Stoics, justice wasn't just a legal concept, it was a way of life. It's about recognizing the inherent worth of every person and acting in ways that promote the common good. This means being honest, keeping your promises, and standing up for what's right, even when it's inconvenient. Justice reminds us that we're part of a larger community, and our actions have ripple effects that extend far beyond ourselves. Temperance, the fourth virtue, is about self-control and moderation. It's the ability to resist impulses and desires that might lead us astray. The Stoics believed that temperance is key to living a balanced life, free from the extremes of excess and deprivation. It's not about denying yourself pleasure, but about enjoying life's gifts without becoming enslaved to them. Temperance helps us stay focused on what truly matters, rather than getting distracted by fleeting temptations. When we prioritize these virtues, we create a life of integrity and purpose. The Stoics argued that true happiness comes from within, and the only way to achieve it is by living in alignment with these principles. External success, wealth, fame, or power might bring temporary satisfaction, but it's fleeting. Virtue, on the other hand, is enduring. It's something no one can take away from you, no matter what happens in the external world. One practical way to focus on virtue is to reflect on your actions at the end of each day. Ask yourself, did I act with wisdom today? Did I show courage in the face of challenges? Did I treat others with justice and fairness? Did I practice temperance in my choices? This daily reflection helps you stay accountable to your values and ensures that you're living in alignment with the Stoic ideal. Another way to cultivate virtue is to surround yourself with people who embody these qualities. The Stoics believed that we're influenced by the company we keep, so it's important to seek out relationships that inspire and challenge us to be better. Whether it's a mentor, a friend, or even a historical figure you admire, learning from those who live virtuously can help you stay on the right path. As we wrap up this insight, remember that focusing on virtue isn't about perfection. It's about progress. The Stoics understood that we're all works in progress, and the journey toward virtue is lifelong. What matters is that we keep striving, keep learning, and keep aligning our actions with these timeless principles. And as we do, we'll find that living virtuously isn't just a philosophical ideal, it's a practical path to a life of fulfillment and peace. Next, we'll explore the final Stoic insight, remembering the bigger picture. Because when we step back and see our challenges in the context of the universe, we gain a perspective that helps us stay grounded and resilient. Now, as we move into the final Stoic insight, let's take a moment to step back and consider the bigger picture. The Stoics believed that one of the most powerful tools for overcoming challenges is to zoom out and see our lives in the context of the vast universe. This practice isn't about dismissing our problems as insignificant, it's about gaining perspective. When we remind ourselves of how small we are in the grand scheme of things, it can help us stay grounded, resilient, and even find meaning in the face of adversity. Think about it this way: when you're caught up in the day-to-day struggles of life, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. A difficult conversation, a missed opportunity, or a setback at work can feel like the end of the world. But when you take a step back and consider the scale of the universe, the billions of stars, the countless galaxies, and the infinite expanse of time, it puts things into perspective. Suddenly, that argument or failure doesn't seem quite as monumental. This isn't to say your challenges don't matter. It's about recognizing that they're part of a much larger tapestry. The Stoics called this practice viewing from above, and it's a way of mentally rising above your immediate circumstances to see the broader context. Imagine looking down at Earth from space. From that vantage point, borders, conflicts, and personal struggles seem small and interconnected. This perspective can help us detach from our emotions and see situations more objectively. It's not about ignoring your feelings, but about not letting them control you. When you remember the bigger picture, you're better equipped to respond to challenges with clarity and calm. This practice also reminds us of our place in the universe. The Stoics believed that everything is interconnected and that we're all part of a greater whole. When we embrace this idea, it can foster a sense of humility and gratitude. Instead of feeling isolated in our struggles, we can see ourselves as part of something much larger. This can be incredibly comforting, especially during tough times. It's a reminder that we're not alone and that our lives, no matter how small they may seem, are part of a grand, unfolding story. Another benefit of remembering the bigger picture is that it helps us prioritize what truly matters. When you consider the vastness of time and space, it becomes clear that many of the things we stress about, like social status, material possessions, or minor inconveniences, are fleeting. What endures are the values we live by, the relationships we nurture, and the impact we have on others. This perspective can help us let go of trivial concerns and focus on what's truly important. So, how can you practice this Stoic insight in your daily life? One way is to take a few moments each day to reflect on the scale of the universe. You might look at the night sky, read about astronomy, or simply close your eyes and imagine the vastness of space. Another approach is to remind yourself of the impermanence of life. The Stoics often reflected on the brevity of human existence, not to depress themselves, but to appreciate the time they had and use it wisely. By keeping the bigger picture in mind, you can approach challenges with a sense of perspective and purpose. As we conclude this exploration of Stoic insights, remember that life's challenges are inevitable, but how we respond to them is within our control. By focusing on what we can control, embracing the present moment, and remembering the bigger picture, we can navigate life's ups and downs with resilience and grace. These timeless principles offer not just a way to overcome obstacles, but a path to living a life of meaning, fulfillment, and peace. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Stoic wisdom. If you found these insights helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content like this. Until next time, stay grounded, stay resilient, and keep striving to live your best life. As we wrap up our journey through these 20 Stoic insights, let's take a moment to reflect on how these timeless principles can transform the way we face life's challenges. From focusing on what we can control to embracing the present moment, accepting what we cannot change, and turning obstacles into opportunities, each insight offers a practical tool for building resilience and finding peace. By practicing gratitude, cultivating inner strength, and letting go of external validation, we learn to navigate life with greater clarity and purpose. The Stoic practices of voluntary discomfort, reflecting on mortality, and avoiding complaints remind us to stay grounded and intentional, even in the face of adversity. Through self-discipline, emotional resilience, and a commitment to virtue, we can rise above our circumstances and live with integrity. And by remembering the bigger picture, we gain the perspective needed to prioritize what truly matters and find meaning in our struggles. These insights aren't just philosophical ideas, they're actionable steps you can take to improve your daily life. Whether it's journaling to process your emotions, practicing mindfulness to stay present, or intentionally embracing discomfort to build resilience, each principle offers a way to grow stronger and more grounded. The beauty of Stoicism lies in its practicality. It's not about escaping life's challenges, but about facing them with courage, wisdom, and grace. Now it's your turn to put these insights into practice. Start small, choose one or two principles that resonate with you and incorporate them into your routine. Maybe it's taking a moment each day to reflect on what you're grateful for, or pausing before reacting to a difficult situation. Over time, these small steps can lead to profound changes in how you approach life's ups and downs. And as you begin this journey, I'd love to hear about your experiences. Share your thoughts, challenges, and successes in the comments below. Let's create a community where we can learn from and support one another. If you found these Stoic insights helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on more content like this. Together, let's continue exploring wisdom that empowers us to live with resilience, purpose, and peace. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and remember, no matter what challenges come your way, you have the tools to overcome them. Stay strong, stay grounded, and keep striving to live your best life. Until next time.